Hi, good evening, everyone. Can we start the session now?
Sure.
Yes, good evening, everybody. This is Sonal Mehta from Resurgent India, and I take care of business development and strategy for Resurgent on Pan India basis. We welcome you all to this great session, to this session, webinar session of Resurgent India, where we are going to talk about future of real estate. And it's really great to see so many people there looking at the current health condition in the country, that people have been restricting themselves from so many activities. But I think, this is the best time to interact with the industry people, understand more about what is going to happen. So I really welcome you all to this session. I take delight in welcoming our audience and today's webinar series of Resurgent India Limited. Thank you so much for taking our time for this session today. We would also like to welcome our eminent speakers, to begin with Mr. Gitambar Anand. He's the Chairman and Managing Director of ATS Infrastructure Limited. He has led ATS to stand out as one of the best infrastructure real estate companies today that I talk about. He's commendable leader, and he's also the working style and the vision that he has for the company makes him as one of the icons in the real estate today. So Mr. Anand has been elected as the president of CREDAI for 2015 and 17 terms, and currently heads CREDAI as a chairman representing real estate developers in India.
No. I was the chairman. I've just retired. It's been a year since I retired as chairman.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. But we would really look forward to your feedback on those bases, because for me, I think nobody understands real estate more than you at this point of time. So come on board, sir. We really look forward to having an interaction session with you. I also welcome Mr. Sumit Dabriwal. He is the chairperson and he is the managing director of Highland Projects Limited. Again, immense amount of experience into the real estate sector that he talks about. So I'm sure, it's going to be a very interactive session with both of them. Briefly to introduce Resurgent first. So we guys are basically category 1 merchant bankers, where we work with the clients for their funding requirements, debt, equity, merger acquisition, valuation, TVs, all that we talk about. And we've been in the market for last 14 years. And every year we do almost around 8,000 to 10,000 crores of syndication. Mix of, say, CapEx, refinancing, restructuring kind of opportunities is that we work with. And, I would tentatively say that out of this 8,000, 10,000 crores of syndication that we do, majority, at least 50, 60% would be real estate. So primarily on the real estate side that we've been working on, more on the construction loan side, on the refinancing opportunities, on the LRD that we talk about, cash flow discounting, and we have also been evaluating and working on the AIF fund, which has been announced by the government for funding the stuck-up projects. So we have a decent amount of understanding about real estate as a sector. And I can possibly say, that any good developer has a decent track record on those bases. Now, Resurgent Webinar Series is an initiative to reach out to the industry members and create holistic learning platform for them. So this session that we talk about on future of real estate is a little touchy topic for me right now, where, we will be more talking about that what is the future of real estate, looking at the current situation now, where we are talking about, okay, it's a lockdown situation that we have. And post-lockdown, probably khulne ke baad, jaise for example, we're talking about the things are getting normal post 14th of April, supposedly, agar hota bhi hai, so what is the situation post 14th of April that we talk about, and what would be the situation of future of real estate for next 6 months to a year that we talk about. So I would be running through a presentation which will be covering a little on the topics that we're talking about. Post that, I hand over it to Gitambar sir and Sumitji to take it up. Can we have the presentation, please? So here that we're talking about and the current situation of Indian real estate, the coronavirus outbreak that we are talking about. So real estate as an industry, I'm sure, Gidambe sir and Sumaji would agree with me on this, has been going through a lot of downturns, a lot of liquidity crisis in the past when you're talking about. And looking at the current situation, I think, it's going to get even difficult. So countrywide lockdown until mid-April has halted down almost all the activities. जो construction जहाँ पे भी चल रही थी because the labor issues and stuff, even that's been halted down. And the developers have deferred their projects for the obvious reasons that, one, because of the labor issues, and two, जो पहले ही इतनी सारी इन्वेंट्री पड़ी हुई है उसी का अभी स्टेटस नहीं पता, how we going to sell on those bases. So getting on new inventory or developing new inventory would be a difficult situation even for them. Can we have the next slide, please? Then we are talking about the commercial real estate sector, where most of the corporate occupiers, when you're talking about, there has been delay in the leasing part of it. There has been there has been delay in the leasing part of it, and especially when people have been currently getting used to working from home or the Zoom calls kind of a situation. So we are not very sure how will it impact the leasing activities in future. So that's going to be again a very big question mark on the commercial real estate when you're talking about. Because if this work from home or the Zoom meetings are practically possible, so I really doubt that going future people would have more of office space or the leasing activities also. That's hugely going to impact that. Then thirdly, coming back on the retail business. So retail business, again, when we're talking about, is mostly the commercial malls and stuff that you're talking about, and the government as such has been, has closed down everything till about 14th of April. And we don't know how things would resume post that. But I think, that's again is going to be a huge impact on the retail business. All the global brands who are planning to come to the India market, I think, they would be now revising their decision on expansion plans in India. So that's again going to be a little challenging situation for the retail business. Can we have the next slide, please? Next one. So looking at the market size and the GDP contribution that the real estate sector has been doing till now to the India market, in the industry estimates of the India real estate market prior to COVID-19 outbreak was projected to be around USD 650 billion by 2025 and USD 1000 billion by 2030. And again, I'm sure everybody would know this. Real estate contributes nearly 6% to India's GDP in 2017, as per the projected growth trends. During the pre-COVID-19 era, the sector contribution was likely to rise to 13% of India's GDP by 2025. FDI in construction development, township, housing, built up infrastructure, there were a lot of FDIs who were there. Embassy being one, and then Country Garden guys also being there, so Blackstone being there. So I'm not too sure that how long these guys would be able to continue to grow in the India market right now. That's usually going to impact again. And lastly, amidst the COVID-19 uncertainty, it is anticipated that the forthcoming quarter of the current year further decline in FDI inflows into the sector, which is quite obvious. I think we need to be preparing ourselves for that. Next slide, please. So when we're talking about, we will be further dividing it into India office space and then residential as a sector. So there are few notable trends likely to emerge amidst the current COVID-19 situation. There would be delay in construction activities to impact supply, reduce demand, and rentals to come under pressure. So, which is like, sales not there, the labor not there. So I think, these are some of the major things which would be coming in as a challenge to the office space sector. And, we would require feedback, thoughts from both our eminent speakers to further discuss on it. Next slide, please. Coming back on the Indian residential sector, where there would be construction delays, decline in new launches, sales slowdown, because sales has always been down in the residential sector for quite, I think, 1.5, 2 years. We've not seen much of sales in the residential sector, apart from the affordable housing space, which, we think that still is booming. But otherwise, if we're talking about the other sales, has been really down. And looking at the current situation, I think, that's going to further impact the market. So we need to find a solution as to what is the way forward we can look at. Next slide, please. But fortunately, there have been a couple of government initiatives which have been taken, which, would at least boost a little on the real estate sector, something positive at least we can talk about. And where, again, I think Gidambarji and Sumitji would be able to add more light to it, that how would it impact these government initiatives where we're talking about the lowering the interest rate or reducing of the CRR ratio that we're talking about. That's an initiative which has been taken by RBI. How would that impact? And then 3 months of moratorium for all loans. When they're talking about all loans that they want to look at, where they say that accounts will not be categorized as a default. But the thing or the thought process is that real estate is a big sector. So with these guys would take a good amount of time to revive back. So would this 3 months of moratorium help the situation? I really doubt on it. So I think, without taking much of time further, I would further like to invite Gidambar sir to share his thoughts on this topic. Gidambar sir, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us over on your webinar, and welcome to all the participants. I see 278 over here. To begin with, I would beg to differ from your presentation. It's a little too gloomy, and I think the truth is quite otherwise. Why I say that, I'll substantiate it.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it's absolutely otherwise, because why I say that is, agreed that there were challenges in the real estate sector before the COVID situation arose, and those challenges were there across industry. There were liquidity challenges across industry, not just real estate. And there were new policy measures, there were new GST was there, and there were other things which were introduced, which we were trying to adjust to, and therefore everybody was facing some sort of a challenge, and liquidity, of course, was a challenge, like I said, across industry. Now, what happens now is that, even after the Great Depression in the early 40s and late 30s, the only thing which actually propelled growth was infrastructure, and housing, real estate can qualify as infrastructure because it is the single largest employer after agriculture. Mm-hmm. We are going to see a new normal after this COVID crisis is over. And I would say, after speaking to various people in government, what I hear is that the low-hanging fruit to kickstart the economy would be agriculture and construction and real estate, and which includes, of course, your infrastructure also, infrastructure play, which the government will fund. So things are not so bad. And I think there's a huge opportunity now that people have seen after the share market collapsing the way it has. And, in a crisis, the only thing today, we are all sitting inside our homes. So end of the day, this is the only thing which is really of value in such a scenario. So I think going forward, if we position ourselves right, if we speak the right words to the customers, if we speak the right language, then there is, of course, a latent demand in our 13, 14 metros. There's a bigger demand in our tier 3, tier 4 towns, about 4 crore houses over there. The only challenge over there is that from the demand side, there is an uncertainty of jobs. And if we can convince HFCs to come up with a product which addresses that insecurity, and we can convince them to fund that purchase today, I think once the situation normalizes, as we go around the discussion, we'll come to when that will normalize. But as it normalizes, you'll see people firming up that decision to buy a home. So we'll just on real estate, I'm addressing the residential part. Of course, Sumit and we both will discuss your commercial real estate and retail real estate, but that's what I feel. So I think this presentation needs to be relooked at, and you need to see the opportunity in the disaster.
Absolutely, sir. So it's like, that was the whole purpose of having both of you here, so that, because this is what we generally get it from the industry side, that, that things are going to be this way. Most from the banker side, that this is what future is. But
everyone needs to be recharged and rebooted.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Good to hear that, sir. Really good to hear on that. Right. So, Sumitji, your thoughts on it?
So first, Sonalji, thank you very much for having me. And, sort of, as I was mentioning on the phone call yesterday, I've been a great admirer of Geetambarji. So, I'm very privileged to be sharing a panel.
It's a privilege for all of us to have him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I also noted from the participants that we have people like Vineet Kashyap on as participants. So, hey, Vineet, good to have you here. We also have Giriraj Damani from Ambuja, work very closely with him. So just, waving out the names that I thought were familiar. But quickly to get on to the subject at hand, I agree with the spirit that Geetambarji set out, nowhere near the gloom and doom that everybody talks about. This is really, to my mind, a safe haven asset. And at any point in time when you look at very, very difficult economic situations, people will start to gravitate once the panic subsides. And panic is a situation where everything freezes and nobody knows what to do. But it's always temporary. It's always short-lived. And the first human reaction after panic subsides is to be able to go to safe haven assets. So large financial investors will, and it's already begun to happen. So you've seen large financial investors gravitating to US Treasury. Traditionally, gold tends to sort of get very attractive in times like this because it's always a safe haven asset. And when the panic subsides, and once you start to look at for the retail investor, for example, look at what's happening in the stock markets and other such, people will gravitate to real estate as a safe haven asset. I mean, it's happened every time we have had economic uncertainty, and there's no reason why this time will be any different. A. B, I think that, this one time has been very, very interesting. So for example, for 10 years, I've been having this conversation with friends, who are in the IT or the banking industry. And we've been talking about this work from home thing. And people have been sharing with me that, look, it works, but the only reason why we don't allow it to happen is because there are data security issues, and because, there are productivity issues. You really can't control, what people are doing if you leave them back at home. Technology over these last 10 years has really, really leapfrogged. And there's now a whole bunch of apps that are available which allow a company to digitally sort of...
Actually, so it's like last 10 days, people have been working from home, and Zoom has been such a blessing to people.
No. So I'm not worried about Zoom. So I'm saying, for example, there is surveillance possible on how much time you have been applying to which application. So, in terms of, the way...
Monitoring.
Yeah. So I mean... whether it's data security, whether it's monitoring productivity, so look at a keen sort of student, just from an interest standpoint of urbanization and urban trends, the quality of the urbanity in India, right? So public transport expresses themselves, boom, suddenly you have, an interesting answer to, or an interesting alternative to a lot of these challenges, okay? So if you suddenly don't want to move large populations from home to work and back home every day, okay, and, even a small percentage of those people can actually start working from home, what does that do to our cities? what does that do to our commercial real estate? All of that is going to be really, really interesting. So are we going to see a new normal? I mean, it may not be such a great thing for commercial real estate, but is it going to be better for residential real estate? I have no doubt in my mind that it will.
Okay. Great.
So yeah, I mean,
That
we can
at least some positive feedback coming on the residential real estate as a sector that you're talking about. But what are your thoughts on the commercial and the office space part of it?
Sir, pehle aap hamesha.
So I totally agree with what Sumita just said. So what has happened is so to allow Friday as a work from home.
Wow.
We have a Saturday
Yeah.
off. So if a Friday is a work from home, then we can also have on a rotational basis who would like to take a Friday work from home and who would like to come to office. So we can have, certain departments. So the space we need 100,000 square feet today, we could actually, bring it down to is a big issue. Of course, if we get a solution to that, we might just reduce the office space we need, and that would reduce traffic on the roads. It would change so many things across. And what will happen is then, of course, today, I think what is going to really trigger from that, like Sumitra rightly said, residential is going to really take off well. And we will see that rental housing, which was so talked about in the past, will still be a popular subject of discussion. But knowing the Indian psyche and seeing this particular scenario, I think a lot of people would like to own their own home because, suppose, I'm staying in a rented house and God forbid I fall sick. There's a good chance my landlord might just say, I'm not going to give my house on rent. Yes, my infection ho sakta hai, or something like that. So so the security to own your own home will, emerge even stronger in the Indian home buyer. The only trick is to identify the right ticket size, the right apartment size, and in the right different locations, different geographies of the country. What we as an industry, so today, when you introduce the topic of discussion, it is not just that real estate will be in challenging times post this is reset. Every industry, I mean, be it auto, manufacturing, FMCG, everyone is going to be in the same space.
But today we're only discussing about real estate, so that's how the
but real estate will be in a much better space than all these, because actually, we are going to be the favored sons of even the banks, because it's something which reduces the risk to zero. There's so much of capital lying around floating in the world. It used to be invested mostly in China and, of course, the growing economies like India. And there's Vietnam. But I think India is now going to become more and more attractive because there is a domestic demand here, huge domestic demand, and there is a growth story here. Infrastructure, the infra spend on our roads, our bridges, railways is huge. So therefore, I think a lot of capital will come over here to this country, and real estate players who have the ability to perform and deliver will get capital, I think, in single digits from here on. Maybe your NBFCs will give, their money will also become much cheaper as we go along. And Resurgent should make sure that they do. Otherwise, why do we need Resurgent? Yeah. So I think that is the opportunity. And believe you me, we'll be the fastest to come back. The real estate sector, for the gone back, it's nothing new to us. The only thing new to us is that work has been stopped. For our company, we still have our labor on site. We still are, providing for their rations and looking at them, their welfare and their medicine, etc. But I know that after about 2 months or 3 months, when we have labor coming back, we will kickstart our work very fast. The only challenge that we will face is the supply chain will not be able to revive as soon as we do. Now, in a residential residential complex or residential project, you need so many items, and that will be a challenge to. We were that's a very conscious decision that we are. I think CREDAI will be taking as not a informal one, but yes, that will be the only challenge that we'll face. That our raw materials are for a residential development will be they'll take some time to start manufacturing that, and for us that will be a challenge. But cement, steel will not be a challenge to get. And so, like I said, we'll be the fastest comeback kids on the block.
Wow, that's very, very positive, very interesting to know. And so that, so we can probably, we can shortly say that if the profile of the developer is good, and if they've delivered something in the past, which is like, very obvious, originally also वैसे ही काम हो रहा था कि अगर developer की profile अच्छी है, most of the banks were ready to pitch in, to support at that point of time. So if they plan to continue with the same story, I think then it would be an easy game for real estate to revive back.
So demand is there now. Only thing which we need is cheaper capital. And that today the bankers are speaking that language. Exactly, and NBFCs will have to fall in line also, because they can raise money through banks. The banks can raise money through long-term repo capital, which is at 4%. Then they can buy bonds of NBFCs at 6 to 8%. They can lend to us at about 10 to 11 to 12%. That will change the entire dynamics of good real estate developers. So, like I said, the only challenge is that you must, as real estate developers, we need to look at our execution capabilities. We need to really hone them, and we need to have our organizations in place. We need to hone our organizations, because historically we come with a legacy के real estate में ऐसा ही होता है. Our mindset has to change. ऐसा नहीं होता. We have to start thinking like FMCG. We have to start thinking like manufacturing. So in our sales and marketing, we have to think like FMCG. In our construction side, we have to think like the industrialists were thinking. Every 20 paisa makes a difference. So all that needs to change. So we are also changing. We are rebooting ourselves for the new challenges, and more than the challenges, the new opportunities that this whole situation is bringing.
Commendable, sir. If it is coming from you, I think in the rest of the real estate developers would surely like to follow that. Since you've been a leader with these guys, so I'm sure something coming in from Gitamar Anand, sir.
No, not at all. No, that's not.
Would follow it.
No.
Great. Yeah. So, sir, I would have a couple of questions which I'll be putting it to both of you. So, would request in case we can get some thought process on those.
I think there's been a request that we need to speak in Hindi. Some gentleman has just.
Did somebody? Okay.
I see it on my screen.
Okay.
So, इसके पहले just आप सवाल पूछना शुरू करें उसके पहले मैं एक चीज कह दूं. One of the biggest challenges इस इंडस्ट्री का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज हमेशा इंटरेस्ट रेट्स था. और मुझे तो मतलब जो हमारी फंडिंग के लिए जो इंटरेस्ट रेट्स होती है वो तो एक तरफ है, लेकिन जो हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज जो हमारे कस्टमर को इंटरेस्ट रेट चार्ज करती हैं, मतलब जो इफेक्टिव कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल एक आदमी बेचारा घर खरीदता है उसको इफेक्टिवली प्रोसेसिंग चार्जेस ये वो दुनिया जहान सब दे दुआ के उसको 10% 9.5% खर्चा लगता था. और साहब ये अनरियलिस्टिक है. जहां आपका लास्ट 2-3-4 साल में इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन अदर देन फूड इन्फ्लेशन 0 रहा है. एसेट प्राइसेस आधा 1% हर साल डिप्रिशिएट कर रही है. उसमें आपको 10% इंटरेस्ट रेट पे अगर रुपया मिल रहा है घर खरीदने के लिए तो पागलपना है. अगर आप ग्लोबली देखें तो हर जगह ये इंटरेस्ट रेट्स हैव बीन 2%, 2.5%, 3%. आई मीन दिस इज, तो ये पागलपना था. और ये एक चीज है जो सरकार को मतलब एक देखिए अब ये मौका है, सरकार इसका क्या करती है. गीतांबर आनंद साहब मतलब इसकी ज्यादा टिप्पणी कर पाएंगे, दिल्ली में रहते हैं और मतलब क्रेडाई के बिहाफ में, इंडस्ट्री के बिहाफ में. लेकिन ये एक मौका है. अगर हम साधारण जो घर खरीदने वाला है उसका वी आर एबल टू एनेबल हिम, अगर उसको हम सक्षम कर सकते हैं घर खरीदने में और उसके लिए जो रुपया उसको मिलता है उसकी दर को बहुत ज्यादा मतलब कम कर सकें, then that to my mind will be a tectonic shift. और ये मौका है क्योंकि globally you're gonna now have 0 interest rates for the foreseeable future from major economies, right? And there is very easy for you to be able to attract that money into an asset class like retail lending for home loans. The most robust and the safest kind of category, that can possibly exist, because it's asset backed, it's retail lending, so on and so forth. Okay, even at the intermediation cost of NBFCs, 2, 3%, 4%, you're still looking at a significant delta between current interest rates and potential interest rates. अब साहब 6% पे किसी को रुपया देना, बाजार में अगर कस्टमर को रुपया मिलना शुरू हो जाए तो साहब इस देश की दुनिया बदलती है. मतलब मैं गीतांबर आनंद साहब की और मेरी दुनिया बदलने की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, देश की दुनिया बदलती है.
बदलना ज्यादा जरूरी है सर,
क्योंकि the kind that to my mind then stimulates not just the housing, and the real estate business, but it also stimulates the entire stack of businesses that sit, alongside the real estate business. I don't need to talk about how this is a significant employer and this and that and the other. All that data is fairly well known. That, to my mind, is a significant opportunity. How we're going to harvest that opportunity, both at the level of the government as well as at the level of the financing ecosystem, is, to my mind, interesting to see as we go along.
Wow, very interesting and very motivating to hear that, sir. So I think, we can start with a couple of questions which we had taken for discussion with you. So I'll be putting on the question request for your feedback one by one on that. The first one that we're talking about, the coronavirus has impacted industries like airlines, hotel, retail, etc., which were major demand drivers for real estate, especially residential real estate. With job losses and pay cuts looming due to the ongoing crisis, how is it going to impact the collection of units already sold in the real estate industry? So, I think...
Sumit, you want to take that?
No, go ahead, sir.
So yes, that is a challenge, definitely, because people have stopped paying their EMI, their installments. But to tide over this time, the Department of Financial Services and Ministry of Finance has instructed banks to enhance working capital limits by 10 to 15%. But the challenge is that they've only told the PSUs to do it, and it's not real estate specific. It's a general advice. So we need to push government to have that as a definite requirement for all businesses, including real estate, and NBFCs also must extend that additional sanction to real estate wherever they've lent. Now, the only challenge is NBFCs don't have too much liquidity today. I have spoken to some NBFCs.
Absolutely. Yeah. After the ILFS episode, I think most of them have formed that. Yeah.
So now, because the RBI is encouraging banks to go for the LTR, long-term repo money, and they've allowed them to raise bonds also, I think this can be addressed via that route, wherein the bank can borrow money on LTR and then raise bonds for NBFCs and give them cheaper money. So we'll keep pushing with the government to enable NBFCs also to give that additional capital. But yes, after this thing, there will be a challenge. We don't expect money to come in from customers for the next 3 months. So anyway, we don't expect, but maybe another 3 months after that. So we will need additional working capital, and we'll fight for it and we'll get it.
I'm sure, because as we're talking about that 3 months is too small a time period for a real estate sector. When you're talking about it, obviously needs to be extended, or some alternative needs to be thought about that to how to divide back the money from the customer.
Absolutely.
The second one goes, sir, the same.
एक मिनट मैं एक बात बोल दूं जिसमें जो मुझे बहुत I feel it really strongly. ये जो हमने सब डर के हम बैठ रहे हैं और हम कह रहे हैं कि साहब 3 महीना लगेगा, 6 महीना लगेगा, दुनिया बंद हो गई, समझ नहीं आता. I think that we also have to see this in the perspective of the situation that we find ourselves in India. We have 1,200 or 16, 1,700, 1,800 cases as we speak today. We have deaths in double digits. Please understand, I mean, every year dengue and malaria, I'm sorry to sound insensitive, but kill, they affect significantly larger numbers in every city. मतलब हर शहर में नोएडा, गुड़गांव, दिल्ली, मतलब NCR भी मत गिनो, अलग अलग शहर मतलब गिन लो तो एक पॉकेट में मतलब कुछ लाख आदमी होंगे जिनको ये बीमारियां हर साल होती हैं. उनमें से कुछ बहुत ज्यादा बीमार भी हो जाते हैं, हॉस्पिटलाइज भी हो जाते हैं, गॉड फॉरबिड मर भी जाते हैं. I mean, with 1,700-1,800 cases and with 30, 40, 50 deaths, we've gone nuts in this country. Okay, and I think that all told, this will get contained. I don't see this becoming a contagion in India. I don't see the lockdown needing to extend itself indefinitely. I frankly believe this is like our Lehman moment all over again. You know, when Lehman had happened in 2008, you know, we had all frozen with fear because we were reading, you know, sort of press reports, and we were watching the television, and we were seeing what was happening to the US, and we were seeing what was happening to Europe. And there was an economic, you know, kind of meltdown in major economies globally. And India emerged significantly unscathed from that whole madness. And I'd like to submit to you, it'll be sort of borne out in 3 or 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it is, but I don't see India getting hit anywhere near in the same way as a lot of the other countries have been hit now. Are we naturally better from an immunity standpoint? Is temperature working for us? You know, are we more blessed by God? You know, I don't have an answer to that question. I don't know why, but I just
let's hope for that, sir.
Absolutely. So I'm not worried about, you know, sir कह रहे हैं कि 6 महीने, मुझे तो लगता है कि साहब in 3 months time ये डर pretty much हट गया होगा हमारे दिमाग से.
Let's hope for the best, sir. We really look forward, you know, अगर 2-3 महीने में चीजें सुलझ जाती हैं and things get back to track, so I think, you know, this would be a very positive sign.
डर 3 महीने में हट जाना चाहिए, but Smith, I'm just saying that for things to come back to normal, supply chain to open out, it will take about 5-6 months.
हाँ, हो सकता है.
वो time लग सकता है.
डर हट गया तो बाकी झमेला खत्म सर. फिर तो
हटा ही हुआ अभी भी हम लोग का.
हाँ, आपका मेरा तो है ही नहीं, but general public के कह रहा हूँ.
Right, sir. The second question that we're talking about is the sales velocity has already been low over the past couple of years. The demand for real estate, especially in the real estate space, is expected to dampen further. While the new projects can be put on hold, do you expect the developers to move forward with the under construction projects in hand?
Of course they'll move forward with the under construction. मतलब जो already commitment है वो तो पूरी करनी ही है, पर ये बार-बार ये जो questions हमने बनाए थे, मेरे ख्याल हम एक new normal नहीं देख रहे इस situation के बाद. एक demand growth होगी इसके बाद. एक जो हमारी Indian mentality है, जो security चाहिए हमको मकान की, वो और भी aggressively सामने आएगी. तो मेरे हिसाब से मुझे नहीं लगता कि demand और dampen होगी. मुझे लगता है demand only challenge I'm saying again is the job insecurity of the buyer. And if that is addressed by a product which the HFC comes forth with and a reduced interest rate, like Sumit said, I think there's no challenge to the residential real estate sector as such, not at all. But again, the condition is that the developer must have performance with him, execution with him.
Yeah, execution capacity, because, you know, this question basically came out from the fact that there's already unsold inventory which most of the developers are sitting on today. So नया बना के वो बेचने का challenge है कि भाई पुराना बिके तो अभी इस situation में नया बनाओ उसको बेचो. So do you think that
ये बहुत shift होगा. देखिए अभी तक your stock market was doing exceptionally well, you know, before the COVID hit. Post this scenario, you'll see a shift in people's investment strategies. They'll definitely look at real estate as a safe haven asset and try and invest here and come here to invest. So ये जो हम कह रहे हैं कि sold unsold inventory है, मुझे लगता है this will start moving very soon. And then I'm not saying new launches एकदम शुरू हो जाएंगी, लेकिन ये जो cycle है, जो चक्का है, ये बहुत जल्दी घूमने शुरू हो जाएगा real estate का.
मतलब कंस्ट्रक्शन चलती रहेगी, कंस्ट्रक्शन
चलेगी क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट कर रही है. गवर्नमेंट कह रही है बैंकों को इनको और पैसा दीजिए. अभी और अग्रेसिवली कहेगी गवर्नमेंट. आरबीआई कहेगा कि आप इनको 10-15% इनकी जो सैंक्शन लिमिट है, जो ड्रॉन लिमिट है, उसके ऊपर 10-15% और पैसा दीजिए ताकि ये काम अपना चालू रखें, क्योंकि पीछे से किस्तें नहीं आ रही हैं. तो ये चलेगा व्हील, और ये चलने से आपकी डिमांड तो 100% आपको मैं बता रहा हूँ, ये सी अ न्यू नॉर्मल. there's going to be a shift in what we were seeing before this situation. What we see after, it's going to be pleasantly surprising for the real estate sector, I assure you.
मैं एक चीज कहूँ आपको, ये जो ओवरहैंग ऑफ सप्लाई है ना, ये आंकड़े हैं, क्योंकि इसमें वो अच्छा बुरा बड़ा छोटा मतलब बना हुआ थोड़ा कम अच्छा बना हुआ सारा जुड़ा हुआ है ना. तो साहब यू नो पिछले 5-7 साल में जो साहब हमने सबने मिलके गलतियां तो करी है ना. हमने मतलब वो ऐसा सामान बनाया है जो मतलब समाज के या उस समाज के जहां पे वो बना है उस समाज के लायक नहीं है. कुछ साइजिंग में गलत है, कुछ कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में गलत है, कुछ प्राइसिंग में गलत है, कुछ मतलब हमारी जिद भी है कि हम साहब उस दाम को ठीक नहीं करते या हम सामान को ठीक नहीं करते. तो वो सारा जुड़ा हुआ है ना उसमें. So,
you mean to say high-end real estate that we're talking about?
So high-end real estate, wrongly configured real estate, wrongly priced real estate, all of that is added to that stack of unsold inventory that we are talking about now. So what is relevant to the market has been selling, will continue to sell. I have no doubt in my mind, and as Saab is saying that, to my mind, there will be a little bit of a bump up in demand given the right ecosystem being constructed around it. The 3 or 4 things that, we have all talked about. But so don't, that number, there is this, this lovely number that every 3 months, all these, so many months of inventory. I really struggle with that number, because that so many months of inventory includes all kinds of rubbish, right?
All stalled projects also.
Yeah, so take that out, right? Throw it away, and then start to talk about relevant inventory.
Yes.
That nobody talks about. When we do the math, we just do the math very blindly, and that kind of sends out, to my mind, very, very, very wrong signals into the ecosystem, of both real estate developers and potential buyers. I mean, just we've been fear pandering. We need to be able to start looking at this situation slightly more intelligently, to my mind.
I guess that's important, right, sir? So thirdly, to talk about real estate is a highly labor-intensive industry. The recent migrant crisis due to coronavirus issue is going to impact the timelines of under-construction projects, especially in large metro cosmopolitan cities. How do you foresee the impact on project timelines because of labor shortage expected once the normal activities resume? Which I think has already given a little hint on that. कि ठीक है वो तो normal वो 2 महीने तो छुट्टी जाते ही हैं. So it's like a normal छुट्टी for them. So but it's just that कि मेरे ख्याल से तब cyclical होता होगा कि they would be going in shifts across the place. But जैसे ठीक है आपका काम तो चल रहा है, you saying the projects have not been put on hold, but there are a lot of projects.
No, they've been put. So the difference is that this time काम बंद कराया गया है. तो थोड़ा बहुत तो डिले होगा, और वो सभी का हो रहा है, सिर्फ रियल एस्टेट का नहीं. टाइमलाइंस आज कस्टमर को भी पता है कि काम बंद है, उन्होंने इंस्टॉलमेंट देनी बंद कर दी, तो नेचुरली डिलेज तो होंगी, एंड दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ अस हैव एक्सेप्टेड इन आवर हेड्स अक्रॉस, आई मीन ऑल स्टेक होल्डर्स हैव एक्सेप्टेड कि हाँ, प्रोजेक्ट्स विल बी डिलेड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस सिचुएशन.
और साहब, जो जैसे गीतांबर आनंद साहब ने बहुत सही कहा कि अगर किसी डेवलपर ने फॉर एग्जांपल आप अपने ठेकेदार को पैसे टाइम पे देते हो, आप अगर उसके साथ आपका रिश्ता पुराना है, तो वो आपकी साइट पे लेबर पहले लेके आएगा. जो नया आदमी है जिसने थोड़ी सी तकलीफ मतलब से काम किया है, पहले उसकी उतनी ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड नहीं है, तो शायद उसके पास लेबर आने में जब शुरुआत होगी अगले महीने से या जब भी, तो मतलब द बेटर will spring back faster, the weaker or the slightly sort of जो जिसको तकलीफ है उसको फिर normalize होने में थोड़ा सा और समय लगेगा. So I mean, but I don't see this as सब 3 महीने की कहानी में, when you are looking at a 3.5 year relationship with a customer, a 3-month blip is neither here nor there. So I think we are making too much of this delay conversation also. I think we'll bounce back fairly quickly now, whether it'll be 3 months delay or 4 months delay. How much will we be able to make up on account of our own efficiencies? I don't see a really big disruption on this account.
Great. Good, sir. So going back on the 4th one, many large developers are procuring construction. China वाला तो sir ने अभी जवाब building material from China to reduce the overall construction cost. How do you see the current situation impacting the project cost going forward? I think Gitambar sir has already answered that. Going future, we have taken a decision not to buy anything from China as a market. So what would be the alternative, sir? How are we preparing ourselves for alternative?
भाई ऑल्टरनेटिव ये है कि आज भी हमारे अगर आप प्रोजेक्ट्स देखें, I don't think we are buying too much from China anyway, because you get everything here now and the price difference is not too much. It's the warranty of your product which you put in your building is better for Indian products rather than Chinese products. At least you can go and tell the manufacturer over here कि खराब है ये WC या सिंक या नल का इसको. So as an organization we hardly use anything which is Chinese. We buy domestically. And I think as a patriotic Indian, I would love to give orders to our factories over here and support the Prime Minister's push to make in India. Why not? Because when we order stuff with our Indian factories, those very people will buy our homes. So it's why should we put money in China when those guys are not going to buy our homes? So this is a very, very logical and very, I think, very patriotic decision that we would be taking as an association.
But from the ATS perspective, I totally.
As CREDAI, I think we will be, all of us, we already, there's a dialogue on, and you know, maybe we all have a consensus. Let's not buy from China.
Great. So, Sir, what is your thought on it?
Look, I completely agree. I don't think we should, spend even one more minute on this conversation. I haven't bought anything from China in the last 5 years. So
me too.
Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, again, like we were talking about, RBI has given a 3-month extension for all installment due between March and May. However, the overall repayment ability of real estate players is going to be impacted much beyond 3 months, for obvious reason. Is CREDAI planning to discuss with RBI regarding the introducing any specific refinance, restructuring package for the real estate industry?
Yes, and it's not just us. Everybody's asking for restructuring, because restructuring in such scenarios is required so that the banks don't report NPAs. More so, हमारे को तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, पर bankers को भी चाहिए ताकि उनकी book खराब ना हो, provisioning करनी पड़ती है उनको.
बिल्कुल.
So everybody's asking the RBI for more reliefs, and the governor in his speech said that we will do everything within our power to tide over this crisis, whatever it takes. So it's the outlook of the RBI is very, very positive towards supporting industry. So I think these things will happen as we see time going by. So I'm not very worried, because the situation is the same for all, not just real estate. It's for all. So the RBI more for MSMEs and SMEs. So the RBI in its wisdom will definitely allow these things, restructuring. Maybe they allow another morat of 2-3 months to industry to repay, even to pay interest. They might capitalize interest later on what they're doing over here. They might do it again for the next 3 months. They are very, very supportive. They are very, very. So the language I hear from government is that we are there to support you guys bounce back, no matter what it takes.
I know, but it has to go from the industry leaders like CREDAI and NAREDCO.
It's going. It'll go.
That's surprising.
Yeah, 100%.
Great. So then housing finance companies are a major source of lending, especially to self-employed class and people with a low CIBIL score. We understand from HFC players that the evaluation criteria of the customer is being tightened for assessment of home loans. Home loan leads to sanction ratio is going to drop significantly because of change in CIBIL profiles of borrowers. Do you see any alternate channels of funding emerging or any relaxation in RBI guidelines to keep the demand moratorium intact?
So, this has also gone through its own churn. If you look at what has happened over the last ever since ILFS happened, there has been a very significant sort of transformation in the funding ecosystem of housing finance, and where you had some of them have kind of dropped out, other new players have. So for example, take Gru Finance, which has been taken over by Bandhan, and they have now begun to sort of look at providing capital to self-help groups, smaller lenders, borrowers who don't have CIBIL scores at all, and sort of. So this is going through its transformation. This is going through its churn. हम हमेशा हर चीज को एक अपने वो we look at everything from the prism of the conventional and the past, and events like this tend to create a new normal. It also opens up a whole bunch of new opportunities, and वो नई दुनिया बनती है इन चीजों से. किसी भी आपको 3 महीने घर पे छोड़ा तो आप अपने बारे में, अपने आसपास के बारे में थोड़ा सोचोगे, नए से सोचोगे, नई चीजों करोगे. नहीं तो हम अपने हल्ले में, जो रोज के हल्ले में दफ्तर में नई चीज के बारे में सोचने का बहुत कम समय मिलता है. तो अभी जो आपको घर पे हम लोगों को रखा गया, इसमें इसका भला भी होगा. आप चिंता ना करें. And I don't, as a country, we would have to be extraordinarily blind not to be able to provide quick and affordable capital to this one asset class. गाड़ी खरीदने का पैसा दो ना दो, मतलब देश का भला बुरा कुछ नहीं होगा,
घर खरीदने का पैसा
हाँ,
चाहिए।
मतलब घर खरीदने का पैसा नहीं दो. And I have great faith in our administrators. I have great faith in their ability to be able to see good from bad, right from wrong. I have no doubt in my mind that you will find, issues like civil, ये सब, it's a है, तो ये पैसे सस्ते पैसे और ज्यादा पैसे देने पड़ेंगे.
I agree, sir. 100%. मतलब if it has to grow, it has to be supported by the government and the banking fraternity.
का कोई मतलब वो ये पूरा ना, that's one prism in which we have been seeing the way in which we want to do this business. इसको हटा दीजिए सारी.
Okay, great. Sir, last 2-3 questions before we go to the question answer from the other attendees that we're talking about. Many projects might miss the deadline committed to RERA. The need to relax in any guidelines of RERA relating to compensation penalty might benefit the industry. Is the CREDAI other real estate association planning to come up with such proposals?
ये हो गया already. There are already submissions हो चुकी हैं, and RERA understands so much of importance. They will happen because the situation demands it. So all these things will happen. We've already represented.
Okay, we've already represented on those. It's comfort coming in from you. So next question, sir. With threat of bankruptcies looming large, do you think relaxation in guidelines under IBBI, IBC is required? Which specific guideline under IBBI as per you requires relaxation?
You want to take that, Sumit?
See, again, these are all in the same vein, sir. मतलब वो जो सरकार को कहना है वो आई एम श्योर, मतलब CREDAI के
IBC में हो भी चुकी है रिलैक्सेशंस, अगर आपने देखा अनाउंसमेंट की थी. तो ये होता रहेगा, these things ये होता रहेगा, इंडस्ट्री मानती रहेगी, गवर्नमेंट अपनी विजडम में जो कर सकती है जरूर करेगी.
I know, especially from the residential real estate front, when you're talking about that, I think the government has been pretty supportive. Especially with that AIF 25,000 crore which they have announced, and there have been transactions which I don't think any much disbursements have happened in that, but at least वो pipeline लोग evaluate कर रहे हैं, वो proposals at least लोग evaluate कर रहे हैं.
Yes.
So that's a very positive initiative from the government side to support the residential real estate space at least. Great, sir. With overall slump in demand of real estate, Indian banks might further reduce exposure of real estate. NBFCs have already cut down on corporate loan books. Do you see any new funding sources emerging for the sector to maintain momentum of construction?
ये आपका हम क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी आंसर कर चुके हैं पहले कि हम आप अग्री नहीं करते कि ओवरऑल स्लम्प होगा रियल एस्टेट में. हम कहते हैं कि स्लम्प नहीं होगा.
ठीक है, हम ये भी नहीं एग्री करते, लेकिन what are the other sources which can be looked at?
So FDI money, sovereign money and all will come here in a big flood. Because this is an opportunity, like I said, domestic demand is so strong. बाहर जितना भी पैसा मिल रहा है इतना सस्ता, वो सब पैसा काफी उसमें से काफी हद तक पैसा यहाँ पे आएगा. You'll see new equity model, equity money coming in. Equity money is, I think, the next big thing that will come in here is equity money. And
that would be boom for real estate because
absolutely, and yes, and I think affordable housing will see a lot of equity money coming in.
Okay.
So, yeah. So so if we are talking about Resi mostly, so I think the biggest opportunity, because that is something which has a huge demand, and if you get it right, if you can crack the code, as they say, then that's something which will do very well. And this kind of money, foreign money, will come in a big way.
And sir, if I may add, Solji, if I may add that, in terms of cash flows or in terms of financial support for commercial assets, it's already been, really happy times. Today, you're looking at, if it's a grade A asset pre-leased, you're looking at being able to capitalize that asset at, very, very attractive cap rates. They've fallen to, sort of rates that at least I couldn't have imagined those kind of rates. And I think that rates are going to stay at those kind of levels, maybe even get slightly more attractive, if I dare say that. So, sir, again, liquidity is a conversation that we've had extensively. मुझे liquidity का कोई issue नहीं लगता. अब उसको कितनी अच्छी तरह से हम structure करते हैं as a country, और मैं देश की बात करता हूँ, मतलब वो साधारण आदमी के हाथ में आप कितना सस्ता पैसा पहुंचा सकते हो जिससे कि वो घर खरीदे. हमारे को उधार देके हमारा कितना भला कर दोगे. 2% इंटरेस्ट कम कर दोगे, थोड़ा सा 10%, 15%, 20% ज्यादा रुपया दे दोगे, डेल्टा नहीं है. हमारी जिंदगी नहीं बदलेगी. हमारी जिंदगी तब बदलेगी जब आप कस्टमर को या पोटेंशियल कस्टमर को एनेबल करोगे, उसको बोलोगे कि यार तेरे को सस्ता पैसा देता हूं, तेरे को जल्दी पैसा देता हूं, तू घर खरीद दिल भर के, तब दुनिया बदलेगी. और ये इस पे ध्यान देना है हमको सबको.
Great. Good to hear that, sir. One last question before we go to the question and answer round from the audience. What opportunity do you foresee in the industrial sheds, warehouses, and SEZ space, especially with many companies in China looking to shift their manufacturing base to India? Region-wise, which state, cities do you feel might benefit from this emerging trend? Residential. What is the thought process
go
on
for
this?
that.
Okay, sir. So again, industrial stroke logistics demand has been robust over the last 3-4 years, ever since GST has been announced. There's nothing new. This demand has been robust across all major consumption centers. A lot of capital has now sort of begun to follow this asset class as well. So there are maybe sort of 6-7 really large funds, and then a whole bunch of smaller capital pools that are, and then private pools of capital that are following this industry. I don't see that changing at all. I in fact see that trend continuing fairly robustly into the future, in the next maybe 10 years. I don't see that changing. Is there a significant migration of manufacturing that I see from China to India? I don't know. It's a much bigger question. I think that a lot more, frankly, will have to be done by both the government of India and the states. So that's a much bigger question, and I don't think that there is enough evidence one way or the other at this point in time to be able to point to a trend. So I don't think that. I think it's very early to have that conversation. Yes, it's an opportunity. Can it happen? The answer is yes. Will it happen?
We don't know. We'll have to
know yet. I think that we need to do more in order to make it happen or to enable it.
Absolutely, I agree.
And industrial parks will be, see, I'll tell you, like the DMIC starting from Dadri right up to Mumbai, and Noida suddenly saw a spurt of industrial activity because Chinese companies were coming here to set up shop. I think, and I agree with what Sumit says, if the government gives the right push to manufacturing, and which they are already doing, because Make in India is a big slogan, then you'll see along this entire corridor, you'll see a lot of industrial parks coming up where it's a mixed use development where there's industry, there's resi, there's some retail, some commercial space. So there is something there, and I'm sure that government will give manufacturing a push, because this opportunity, they know that if they lose it this time, then they've lost it forever. So I think industrial parks and manufacturing will see a kickstart once this is done.
Wow. Wonderful, sir. So it is so positive to know about real estate, residential side. लोगों को थोड़ा सा warehouse SEZ का था, because there are a lot of SEZ transactions which have been there. If things move positive, I think then there is no stop back to the real estate as a sector. I think it will do better than what it has done in the past.
Absolutely. So you need to redo your presentation.
I will redo it and share the screen with you again. Done, sir. I will be going to the question and answer sessions now from the panelists. Let me take it one by one. 1 second, sir. Just give me one moment. Mr. Amandeep Singh wants to know, can you provide funds for shopping mall? I think that must be for the resurgent perspective. How can real estate be working from home, especially monitoring site field works? Sir.
No. So the thing is, when we say real estate working from home, you don't mean the site guys working from home. Every real estate company has got a back-end organization also, which we call the head office staff, which is your planning guys, your HR guys, your finance and accounts guys, your marketing and sales guys. So all these guys who are actually working from head office will start working partly from home, but your site people will not. The site people need to function from site, and they need to control labor at site, and they need to see the execution of the project from site. So we have a head office where there are about 300 people, and we have about 3,500 people on sites. So that is how the 3,500 stays as it is. But these 300 people, of course, like I said, we shift part, maybe 3 days in a week they'll work from, or 2 days in a week they'll work from home. So we'll cut down on our office space requirement.
Okay, so how are the people working right now? अभी तो काम सब जगह ही बंद होगा. So
अभी हमारे planning वाले वगैरह, HR वाले, accounting, finance, marketing, sales, CRM, everybody is working from home, and they're working pretty efficiently because of this technology now. So they are meeting every day, they are speaking every day, they are speaking to customers every day. Collections जो भी हो रही हैं, planning में जो हमारे projects में drawings बननी है, वो आपस में communicate कर रहे हैं site heads, project heads के साथ. So work is going on even now, but only the execution has stopped. The construction at site has stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, sir. So coming back on the next question that we have, as on date, people are having house and go to office. So how will house demand increase because of work from home? Yes, commercial office space demands will go down.
मैं आपको एक कहानी सुनाता हूँ. नहीं, कसम से, मैं मतलब मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ. पिछले हफ्ते, I spent half my life in Bombay and half my life in Calcutta. So just before the lockdown started, मैं बम्बई था, and sort of ये work from home की चर्चा शुरू हो गई थी. तो खुद भी बाहर जाना, लोग कह रहे थे कि भैया मत जाओ. और जो जिस बिल्डिंग में रहता हूँ, सारे या ज्यादातर लोग ऑलरेडी घर पे काम कर रहे थे. And I was really feeling trapped. So I kind of walked across to a friend's home, for a drink in the evening. Or they both work in private equity, husband, wife. They have young children, and they have a live-in, a maid, nanny, whatever. And Bombay apartments are what they are. And suddenly, because you were working from home, what was happening was that the husband was on a call and he needed, a quiet space for himself, and the wife was on a call and she needed quiet space for herself, and the kids were, sort of going nuts because, they were confined into, a tight physical space. So suddenly, if you're going to start working from home, for example, is this trend of making our apartments tighter and tighter and cheaper going to reverse itself a little bit? And are we going to start to look at, a little bit more elbow room in? And I'm not saying that's what is going to happen. I'm only saying that, it'd be interesting to see how things start to behave in the next 2, 3, 4, 6 months and then beyond. I think that there is a social reset that is happening. And I think that what we need to do is to be able to wait a little bit for it.
I think it's going to become more of a lifestyle now with people.
This is a given. If work from homes happen, then, the way in which you start to configure the home is going to change. And, the desire then to have the home is actually going to, it's going to be higher. Today, for example, this whole co-living thing, okay? A lot of people will actually not be able to share physical spaces for the simple reason that they're spending much more time at home. So, you will need, sort of your own private space, however that space may be configured, but you're going to need to have it as your own space as opposed to a shared space. Young people otherwise were spending such little time at home that they were able to get away with the idea of a shared space, and didn't really matter because you were really using it only to sleep. But if you're going to start working from home, then you're going to have to need a quiet, if suddenly in this environment, I had people chasing around right behind me and this and that and the other, then this webinar would have been difficult.
Absolutely.
So there we go. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how things pan out, but I can tell you with confidence that this is a net positive for residential demand, can't be a net negative.
Great to know that, sir. Wonderful to know that, rather. Again, coming back on a question from Vinod Jainji, lenders are averse to lending to real estate. So I think, Gitambar ji and Sumit ji have already answered that, it depends on the profile of the developer. Lenders have been doing real estate, will keep doing real estate. It depends on the profile of the developer कि आपने पहले कितना काम किया हुआ है and what is your reputation in the banking sector. So I think Sumit ji and Gitambar sir have answered it. Anything to add on that?
No, and also after this whole thing, I think lenders will be more interested in giving to real estate because this is one asset which is going to attract a lot of investment from our Indian home buyer. Suddenly, I'm telling you, the dynamics is going to change. You see a new reset. So जब ये एक चीज अच्छी तो वहाँ पैसे नहीं लगाएगा बैंकर.
Absolutely. So that's the point. It depends on the profile of the developer. Okay?
Oh, yes. Yeah. पैसा सस्ता होगा ही होगा.
Great. Wonderful, sir. Gives a lot of confidence to, I think, most of these guys.
महंगा पैसा पुसाएगा ही नहीं तो कौन लेगा?
हाँ. So again, it calls on the import of China. If import from China is blocked, it will add to Make in India initiatives of our honorable PM. Could CREDAI work with PMO for relaxation to the entire real estate sector, which I think you already discussed.
Yeah.
Answer that you're already working with the
Yes,
government
we are.
to support
Yes.
that. Great, wonderful. Do you think we will get industry status soon from the government? So,
we as an association have not been too keen for an industry status because it brings its own compliance issues. We were very keen on an infrastructure status and that has been given, but there's a rider to it that only a project which has got 50% homes which are 60 square meters, they will get infrastructure status and nothing else. So now we will push government to do some, amendments to that definition so that real estate per se gets infrastructure status. That will enable us to get cheaper money, to get, many, many advantages. So more than industry status, we are looking at infra status.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, there is another question. Is the real estate asset and asset class is coming up?
That I think has been answered in...
lambi charcha hui hai.
Okay, I think that's been taken care.
Yeah.
Then do you think housing loans coming in the range of 3 to 4%? हमने बोला सस्ता पैसा आएगा.
वो भी I think सुमित ने बहुत डिटेल में बात की. वो everybody is going to push for that कि सस्ता home loan सस्ता होना चाहिए.
But 3 से 4%.
देखिए क्या है, अगर आज PMAY को आप अवेल कर रहे हैं तब भी आपका पैसा थोड़ा सस्ता होता है, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट इस बात से वाकिफ है कि ये सस्ता करने की जरूरत है. प्रॉब्लम इज दैट द HFCs don't have access to cheaper capital. They are saying that we borrow at about a 6%, so they cannot really bring it down like HDFC. If they raise bonds, also masala bonds, they're also at 6%. Now with this new reset where money internationally is at 0%, I think HFCs will be able to raise cheaper money. Therefore, they'll be able to give cheaper money to your home buyers also and to us. So everything is going to change after this. आप देखिएगा, क्योंकि ये जैसे मैंने कहा यूरोप और अमेरिका को भी दोबारा खड़े होने में समय लगेगा. तो ये सारा पैसा जो यूरोप और अमेरिका में पड़ा हुआ है, हाँ, तो ये हाँ, तो हमारे HFCs और हमारे फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन बॉन्ड्स में ये पैसा रेज करेंगे बाहर से और वो सस्ता पैसा रेज कर पाएंगे, तो वो आगे सस्ता पैसा देंगे भी. There will be no reason for them not to give cheaper money. I think Sumit needs to say.
Sorry, just two things. I think there are also some very, very interesting tailwinds for the economy. So oil is at $20, for example. I'm not saying it'll stay at 20. But are we looking at another protracted period of low oil prices? And is that therefore going to deliver a very significant dividend to the Indian economy? Second, again, because of temporary, sort of rush to safe haven, you've got the rupee has depreciated very significantly. So any new capital that is raised in the foreseeable future will not suffer the risk of very significant rupee depreciation, which is something that has been happening over, so rupee cover costs have been a significant part of our cost of capital raising overseas. And I don't see that happening, in the foreseeable future. Cover costs will come down, I mean, generally from an financial engineering standpoint, so I don't see too much risk of that. And so, sort of economically, I see us being able to raise cheaper capital for the foreseeable future. One, of course, is the condition of the economies, of the West comparative to the way in which we're going to behave. The World Bank already has issued a statement saying that India and China are probably the only two economies that will not go into recession. And, so the rest of the world is very likely going to see a period of recession for, a reasonable period in time. So I'm absolutely confident that we will be able to, we're going to see a significant period of very, very high liquidity going forward. And that will have an impact on pricing. It will have an impact on just overall availability of capital. Be interesting to see. And I think that will happen at a wholesale and at retail.
Wow, that's very interesting again, sir. The next question is, again, a very interesting one. I don't know how many real estate players would have thought about it. Do you see the opportunity for big real estate players getting to housing financing? Home financing, sorry.
Yours.
It's too early to comment on that.
मैं वही बोल रही हूँ अभी ये thought process किसी का आया नहीं होगा.
देखिए, as we go along, opportunities will unfold. Yeah. And अपनी capacity है कौन कितना काम कर सकता है. So let us see. I'm sure big real estate companies are also looking at that as an opportunity. But आज की तारीख में जैसे आपने इतनी gloomy picture paint की थी अभी तक तो कोई सोच नहीं रहा था. लेकिन आने वाले वक्त में I'm sure when things change, people will think on those lines also.
Great, sir. Next one is, how do you see the market evolving in tier 2 city, and is the market be more inclined to bottom of the pyramid segment?
I think I answered that tier 2, tier 3 and 4 crore houses.
Affected by the situation, and do you see any positivity for them?
So, should I take it, sir?
Yes.
So, again, I'll draw from one of those very interesting conversations. So there was a hotelier that I will not name, but one of the premier hotel companies, the CEO of the company, on a panel with the young man, Ritesh, who owns and, sort of runs Oyo Hotels. Right. And, so here was this gentleman who had set up, these very beautiful hotels across the country and had invested hundreds of crores and thousands of crores each of, in creating that capacity. And he was sort of trying to understand how he was valued at X and Oyo was valued at whatever, 1000X or whatever that number was. So, today it's about who owns the customer. It doesn't matter, who's creating, and why do you own a customer? You own a customer because you are able to deliver to the customer what he expects and a little bit more. So long as you are able to own the customer, you're in good shape. So, if you as a hotelier are able to own your customer, you're in good shape. Just creating assets is not going to take you anywhere. That's the tectonic shift that has already taken place in the hospitality business. This is a temporary interregnum. 3 महीने सरकार ने कह दिया कि आप अपने घर से बाहर नहीं निकल सकते, तो मैं, plane में नहीं चढ़ सकते, train में नहीं चढ़ सकते. So travel and tourism will get affected. But if that brand has great loyalty from its customers, then that business will bounce back, and that business will have an opportunity to grow really, really rapidly. No problem. And this 3 month, 6 month, whatever interregnum that this industry is facing will be soon forgotten. But if the brand doesn't have that resilience, then it will be challenged. And I think this is true not just for hotels. It's true for every industry and every brand.
Absolutely. I agree, sir.
Sonal, may I? Hello.
Sure, sir.
I have another call to attend. Do we have too much more time over here?
Sir, if we can get 5-10 minutes more, would be really great. Because there were
जी
questions.
ठीक है
Possible, we will wind up at 7:05.
ठीक है जी
Sure? Right, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, there is one more by Siddharth Kachruji. I appreciate the positive outlook much needed. However, it is essential to accept the harsh realities. Residential market have been terrible with 1.75 to 2.22% return. 8 lakh housing inventory stuck, unoccupied or unsold. With the situation and considering the lowering the disposable income further from the here, what is the rationale in positive outlook for residential market? I think it's already been taken by you.
देखिए we can have this debate all night long for 2 weeks. So अपने अपने views हैं, हमारे views हैं, तो everybody may not subscribe to them.
Okay, there's one more, sir. People have investments in real estate, even if they set it as a backup for the business loan. Then at this point, profit will fall and there will be need for funds, how companies will manage. They have to go for funding. Will the investors have the capacity or confidence to lend at this point of time?
So I didn't really understand what is. Does he look at investment, real estate as an investment and liquidating it? See, I tell you, for quite a while now, real estate has been very end user driven. And you're right that the returns are not high, 1.75 to 2% rental returns, even maybe lower than that. But we are now targeting at the end user. We are saying कि जिसको घर रहने के लिए चाहिए वो खरीदे. दूसरा मकान, हाँ, एक समय था जब उसमें आपको इनकम टैक्स बेनिफिट्स मिलते थे, आज इतने नहीं मिलते हैं. So today the demand of the end user is also there in every market. So I don't see, as an investment and to liquidate real estate, yes, it's difficult in this market and it may be difficult even in the coming 1 or 2 years. But for us as real estate developers, from an end user perspective, there's an opportunity and we will therefore keep making more residential complexes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers the question. Then there was another one from Mr. Abhinandan Sharda from Brickwork. Can we expect small HFCs mergers to the big one because of fund unavailability? Like the bank's consolidation has happened, so probably they're talking about merger of HFCs as well. So
I think Resurgent should answer that.
We shall take it up with them, sir.
Yeah.
Will companies start shifting to co-working spaces from permanent spaces? What is your thought?
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sure.
So it's a indelible trend. With greater and greater uncertainty in the economic environment, when you sort of quote unquote acquire your own spaces, you have no flexibility to be able to grow or degrow. So agar mahal acha hai to mujhe jaldi I want more real estate. I want to be able to expand my office really quickly. If I'm buying stroke renting office space, it's really hard for me to be able to do that overnight. But if I'm working out of a co-working space, it's very easy for me to be able to quickly expand and quickly acquire more seats or more square footage, as the case may be. And in times like this, when there is difficulty, I have the ability to be able to degrow really, really quickly and consolidate spaces really, really quickly. So, these are trends that they're already, they're there. These are trends that we're going to live with whether we like it or not. I don't think that this situation has anything to do with that conversation.
Okay, great, sir. So probably, if you can ask the last question here, please comment on the future of REITs in India and how they will change the market.
So please.
So again, great investment vehicle. It's been a long time coming. I think India was waiting with bated breath for REITs for, the tax clarifications on REITs maybe took 5 years after the idea was first mooted. And, every budget used to be that budget of promise, and that the income tax clarifications would not come. But the fact of the matter is that they have come, and now a couple of REITs have already sort of demonstrated themselves to markets. They're they've listed well, they're trading well. They will be a significant pool of capital to be able to support, yield assets going forward. I see this being very quickly followed by infra REITs as well, or InvITs is what they are called by our country. So any yield asset, for example, will now be potentially supported by these pools of capital. I think it's a really, really good thing, and I think this trend will accelerate going forward. I have no doubt in my mind. I mean, retail assets have been very, very, for example, they've been very attractive. There's been a fair amount of capital that has been chasing retail assets, for example, and commercial assets as well. I think this is a really good thing for the industry in general.
I think, we have taken enough of time from both of you. It was supposed to be a 1-hour session, but it was quite a lengthy session because there were so many questions which we had, and plus, there were a lot of questions which were coming in. But thank you so much to both of you, and it was really an eye-opener for all of us, that somebody talking positive about real estate as a sector in today's market. I hope and pray, that things turn out positive, and with the industry support and the government support, I'm really hopeful that things would be positive going future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all the attendees for.
Bye, Sumit.
Right, sir.
Thank you.
So I hope all the questions have been taken care. In case there are any other questions, you can drop in an email to us. We will definitely get back to you on that. Right. Thank you everybody for your time.